welcome back to the publication of Trachoma Survey Data Workshop run by Tropical Data and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Before we get started, we would like to sincerely thank all of our partners involved in the running of Tropical Data. We would also like to thank everyone involved in the creation of this workshop, which was run in collaboration with the Ethiopian Health Ministry and funded by RTI International and the Fred Hollows Foundation. This is the last part of Session 4, before we move on to the Writing the Discussion section. In this session, we will be looking at how to write up the results. Write the results in the order of the methods. Write a results section to cover each table that we have produced. The section should be Study Population, Table 1, Clinical Findings, Table 2, Table 3, Figure 1, Wash Findings, Table 4, and Association Analysis, Table 5. Introduce each table with a paragraph summarizing the contents of the table. Try to make these paragraphs as specific as possible. For example, instead of writing, a total of 10,000 people were enumerated in 4 EUs during these surveys, Table 1, you could write the following, where the age group and the proportion examined were stated explicitly. A total of 10,000 people, aged 1 year or older, were enumerated in 4 EUs during these surveys, of whom 9,500 were examined for clinical signs of TT, TF, and TI, Table 1. Another example might be this, where instead of writing mean TF prevalence was 10%, Table 2, you could write the following, making it clear you are linking prevalence to the EU level, rather than the region or cluster level, and displaying the range of data you have. Mean EU level TF prevalence in children aged 1 to 9 years was 10%. The range was 5% to 15%, Table 2. Try to avoid repeating methods. For example, instead of writing, we conducted a population-based prevalence survey, we targeted a sample size of 1,200 children aged 1 to 9 years. You can combine it into one sentence. For example, we conducted a population-based prevalence survey targeting 1,200 children aged 1 to 9 years. Also, try to avoid too much discussion. For example, 3 rounds of MDA will be needed in all the districts where TF prevalence was greater than 10%. Is not necessary for the results section. Instead, simply state something like districts X, Y, and Z had a TF prevalence of greater than 10%. The target is to be as succinct and clear as possible. You just need to summarize and then direct the reader to the data in the tables. You do not need to replicate what is written in the tables. You should cite all the tables and figures within the text shown here. For example, a total of 150,000 people, mean 2,500 per evaluation unit, range 2,000 to 4,000 per evaluation unit, were examined in impact surveys, and 200,000 people were examined in surveillance surveys. Ranges are useful for summarizing the data in the text. The EU level prevalence of TF in 1 to 9-year-olds ranged from 1% to 20%, median of 5%. There were 20 EUs where the prevalence of TF was greater than or equal to 5%. Of those, the prevalence of TF was greater than or equal to 10% in 4 EUs. You can look at past GTMP and Tropical Data papers and other similar manuscripts for guidance and ideas on how to structure the results section. Before the next session, your suggested tasks are to draft the results section and prepare the tables and figures described in these results sessions. Thank you for attending this session, and we hope to see you in the next video session, which will focus on the discussion.